Good morning, sports bettors. Today is the day. The NBA is officially back tonight. I am very excited for the NBA season. Because I think the Sixers are going to be good. So that has definitely some personal enjoyment, personal excitement regarding the NBA. But I also just think it's going to be an awesome NBA season. There are so many good teams this year. The top of the league, I think, is the best that it's been in a while. It's also the most open it's been in a while. For 8 years, we had LeBron versus the Warriors. Then we had a couple years, we know the Warriors were hurt. We had a couple years without them. Then, of course, they won again because of the Warriors. But this year, I think that the league is wide open. I think there are about 5 teams that I would not be surprised if they won the championship, which is saying a lot because that's almost never the case with the NBA. So, very excited. So, for this video, I'm going to be betting on the NBA. I will say last year, the NBA was my most profitable sport to bet on by far. If you look at like my profit and stuff, it's kind of flat. Football's been going better recently. That's definitely gone up. But NBA, and this includes the WNBA, but I would say 10 grand of this is specifically with the NBA. So it's just been going really, really well. Or had been going really well last year, I should say. This year, I'm hoping to continue that. Another thing that I will say is before I get into it, I would appreciate it if you checked out the OddsJam podcast, Sweat the Bet. So right now, it's pretty NFL heavy, obviously, because it's been NFL season. But with the NBA starting, we'll start talking about the NBA along with the NFL. So Sweat the Bet presented by OddsJam would recommend and appreciate it if you guys checked it out. It's available anywhere you get your podcast platform, or you get your podcast, I should say. It's Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, I think. Anywhere you get a podcast, it's available. So recommend checking that out. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first play that I wanted to lock in here is actually this first play on the screen here, this PJ Tucker under 5.5 points, minus 110 at PointsBet. This is actually my favorite bet of this slate so far. So I'm going to put a full unit on this one, or at least I would like to. We'll see how much PointsBet lets me get on it. But this is worth a unit play. PJ Tucker under 5.5 points. I can only get 27.49, but for those of you at home, unit sizing, I think that this one is worth a unit of your bankroll on this play. And let's talk about why it's such a good play. So let's start with the math first. The no vig odds prices this all the way at minus 125.84. That's insane. That is 15 cents higher than what PointsBet is giving it to you at minus 110. That is a massive gap that equates to about a 6.3% edge, which is really high. If you look at the next closest one is 2.84. Now, there are still really valuable plays to be found with these lower percents, to be clear. But a percent as high as this can be really valuable if you look into the right stuff. And this checks off every box. So PointsBet offers it at minus 110. Look where every other book prices this play. BetRivers, minus 141. BetOnline, minus 147. Pinnacle, sharpest sportsbook in the world, minus 146. If you click this tab, you can view this in an event page and you can pull up where every sportsbook is pricing his play. And FanDuel prices it lower at 4.5. Granted, they favor the over, thinking that basically most likely scenario here is he ends with exactly 5 points. But this is just a ridiculous value when you compare PointsBet across the betting landscape, right? It's just, and that's what you're looking for when you're betting on sports. You want to take advantage of these outliers like this. So that's why it's really important to be signed up for every sports book, so you can A, maximize your chances of just getting the best odds, and B, you have more points of comparison when you are line shopping and you're signed up everywhere. So for basketball reasons, this one makes sense. PJ Tucker, he stands in the corner and shoots. If he shoots 2 for 3, he goes over. If he makes anything less than that, he goes under. And the most likely scenario here is that he goes under. Minus 110 reflects about a 52% win percentage. And the no vig odds have this all the way up at 55%. It's just a ridiculous value. So again, I recommend putting a unit on it, which is the most I'll put on a player prop. I wish I could get a unit on it, but I could not, but that's okay. So this is going to be my first player prop for today's betting slate. Let me just add this to my bet tracker. I put 27, I think 42 was it. Next one that I found that I really liked is also for tonight is this James Harden made threes over 2.5. So I unfortunately cannot lock in this play on DraftKings. They have my account locked. Still working on that. But I do think that this is a good play that is worth about half of a unit. About, for me, would be a $50 play. The no vig odds have this priced at plus 144. DraftKings is giving it to you at plus 150. So again, not as big of a gap, the 2.34 versus the 6.38, but still a valuable play, right? And the reason why I like it is you want to compare DraftKings, or I guess in general, you want to compare the sportsbook that you're placing the bet with towards the other sharp sportsbooks. Now, generally, I will say DraftKings is pretty good with player props, but they're not perfect, and they can still have outliers. Like, look at Pinnacle, plus 111. Look at BetOnline, plus 120, 30 to 40 cents lower than what DraftKings is giving it to you at plus 150. FanDuel, plus 126. PointsBet, plus 125. All in all, this plus 150 is a really good line that I think is worth, like I said, a half of a unit play on this one. And then another one that I really liked that we are looking at is this Draymond Green under 6.5 points, plus 105 at BetMGM. This one is worth a half of a unit play. We will see how much MGM lets me get. $4.65 is all that I could get on this one. Let me add this one to my bet tracker. But for those of you at home, again, another half unit play on this Draymond Green one. Logic is the exact same. This is a really good play. Pinnacle, minus 128. BetOnline, minus 116. Both of these books have the under as the more likely scenario, and BetMGM is giving it to you for above plus money. The only other book that is closest to them would be this DraftKings at plus 100, but all the other books, minus 108, minus 108, minus 115, minus 112, they all have it for minus money, with PointsBet having it at 50-50, BetRivers having it close to 50-50, and then of course BetOnline and Pinnacle having it as the more likely scenario. So I love this one, the Draymond Green under 6.5 points, plus 105 on BetMGM, worth half of a unit play. And the last play I wanted to talk about is actually not a player prop, it is a game prop. And we were looking at the under in the New York Knicks versus the Memphis Grizzlies. So all in all, to talk about the math behind this one, no big odds have this priced at minus 108. Only 14 cents of market width. So only charging 14 cents of juice on this one, which is really good. And the reason why I like this play is because PointsBet, while they have it at a 50-50 play, like these other books do, except for BetRivers and obviously Pinnacle, they only are also charging 14 cents of juice. You see minus 110 each way on every other book. PointsBet's only giving you minus 107 each way. So they're giving you better odds, which is nice because they're also maximizing your opportunity of getting a positive expected value play. Positive EV is all about the odds, and PointsBet, credit to them, are not charging as much juice as all the other books. So this one is worth a half of a unit play. Just going to put $50 on this one. We'll see if they let me get it. That they do. So another half unit play here on this total going under. Another reason why I like it, aside from the minus 107 each way, Pin prices it at minus 121. BetRivers also at minus 121. And then if you view this in an event page, it pulls up where every other book prices it. And the other books price this a full point lower at 225.5. FanDuel, DraftKings, Tipico, BetRivers, BetOnline, and Pinnacle, they have this total priced at 225.5, a full point lower. Now, obviously, with numbers as high as 226, the 1 point difference isn't as big of a deal if it's the difference of, like, you know, if you're looking at a point total, like 4.5 to 5.5, is obviously a massive, massive difference. But all of these sports books are telling you that this total should be priced lower, and including two sharp books, I should say, BetOnline and Pinnacle. And Pinnacle still favors the under at this number. So this isn't a total McSlam because of it's only a 1 point difference, but I still do think that this is a good play and worth half of a unit, which is exactly what I locked on this one. So that is going to be it. Those are going to be my four NBA bets. Some of them for tonight, one for tomorrow, but 4 NBA betting picks to lock in. If you're tailing these, let me know. Would love to hear it. Comment on the video with your feedback. But that is it. So again, I appreciate you guys watching, and have a good one.